Let's see what we have here. All right, first of all, let's look at this low float scanner. For a low float scanner, we have OMNDR, which has been moving up since yesterday. This is the one that we looked at. It was a Malaysia stock that had it was acquiring 2 AI optimized data centers. Now, yesterday, I'm not gonna lie, I tried to trade this and I did not know Charles Schwab was blocking this. I found the trend, was watching the trend after it did this first little move here. Came up into this area that we were watching at the 307, drop back down, and it did not get back below this trend, and it started to bubble right here. I took a trade, or tried to take a trade right here at the 250s. That's when I got the notification that it was blocked. Kind of wish they would have some kind of signal or something for if it's blocked, but it was an Asian company, Malaysian company, but it is what it is. It did not allow me to take any kind of trades on it. So I'm still here on Friday sitting with no trades on the week. So as far as how the market is looking right now, let's go over here to, and I actually need to show y'all the actual chart because I don't think I showed y'all the actual chart there. So the NQ, it looked like it was holding up a little bit through here. I was like, oh, okay, this is great. Gapped up here and then a huge flush from 25, almost from where it started again, right back to where it was as quick as possible, I guess. All the way back down here to the 24s. Even went under 24 a little bit. And so some very strong downwards movement for sure. And also, let's look at Bitcoin. Where's Bitcoin? They're doing the Black Friday sale, huh? Bitcoin did get down here. So these were previous levels here of the 70,000s, and it's got like a little trading range in here from 80 to 70. And it's coming right back down to these bottoms. This is why I said I was kind of slowing down on adding. I'm looking for some type of resurgence or whatnot, but as of now, everything is kind of down. So kind of just letting it play towards the bottom and looking for new opportunities in the crypto world. But as for now, it's just wait and see. Just wait and see. I didn't mean to exit that. Over here on the main, this is what I was trying to show y'all at first. MNDR is leading the day with 37% up. 37% up. And where I tried to trade it yesterday, I was watching it. I really was like, I was on pins and needles because one, it has the AI news, AI optimized data centers, and it was the only thing, but it's kind of out of scope. It's cheaper, right? Under 5, but I found this trend early. I was like, I want to see how it acts above that trend, if it can hold the 234s right above that 225 level. When it came down here to this 246, I was like, okay, if it doesn't break down this 225, I'm gonna go ahead and get in for it to try to get back up for the afternoon hours. And as soon as I hit that button, I saw, oh, reach out to a Charles Schwab associate or whatever. You cannot take trades on this. I was like, oh, come on. But it is what it is. It did end up grinding higher back up here towards 3 from where it was at the 250. So that would have been 30 cents, but I would have had to wait and definitely hold through a little bit of chop. And from there into aftermarket on up to $4. So it is what it is. But at this point, it has come back down to 419, and I don't know. It's got 11 million shares traded on it. The other one that is following it is SBEV, SBEV, SBEV. And yeah, it doesn't look that bullish with only 1 million shares, just over 1 million shares traded. All right, the other one that is up that is up on volume is Nvidia. Nvidia is sitting with 5 million shares traded. We saw this last Friday. The market was descending, coming down into the trenches, and then did a huge reversal, and then kind of consolidated for the day. So we're gonna see what happens this Friday or today. I don't know if it's gonna have the same type of heat in the market that it had on last Friday. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what's going on before it gets too late. It is what 13 minutes past 6 for me at Central Standard Time. Let's go see some research here. All right, so Brazilian rare earths look to gain foothold in rare earths market. The one disappointment in Nvidia's blockbuster earnings. Japan approves 135 billion stimulus to help its sluggish economy. How Blue Owl is tied to Wall Street's private credit fears. Foxconn, Nvidia, 1.4 Taiwan, Russian oil risk being stranded at sea. Oil falls with Ukraine deal, Russia sanctions in focus. Wall Street doesn't agree with Main Street about Nvidia. OpenAI partner Foxconn plans multi-billion-dollar US AI push. US futures diverge after latest turbulence. Bitcoin sinks. Yep, everything's down, man. Everything's down. All right, so let's go down here and see what they're talking about. Are they just talking about Nvidia again? Let me see.
Swings today, Ross. You know, we got Nvidia. It's a strong earnings report. We pop, but then we roll over. Now we got red all over the place. Help us make sense of it, Ross. I know some folks are pointing the crypto market, but what do you see?
Yeah, I'll highlight three things quickly. I think number one, demand for NVIDIA chips doesn't answer the big question about this AI rally, which is what is the return on investment for the firms buying the chips, right? That NVIDIA has such strong demand shouldn't be a surprise. The question is, where's the killer app, the productivity enhancements? Is there going to be good ROI from the hyperscalers and all the folks downstream spending on the NVIDIA chips? I'm not sure why NVIDIA is down so much. I think it looks, pretty attractive here, but it doesn't answer the big question about AI. Number two, I think the market is worried the Fed is trudging towards a policy mistake, that they're going to hold firm in December, that it's going to be a hawkish hold, and that the labor market is deteriorating in a way that requires cuts, or at least for the Fed to get back to a neutral policy stance. There's no real upside of pressure from inflation. Tariffs haven't proved inflationary. And you've even got this working paper making the rounds from the San Francisco Fed that shows tariffs have been deflationary in the past. And then third, you get downside momentum, you get volatility spiking. It starts to trigger some of the algorithmic trading, some of the vol hedging strategies. And it's hard to kind of break out of that cycle without a cleaner bottom, without a real capitulation. So I think we could have a little more downside pressure here, but I view it against the backdrop of a bull market where these sorts of dips are buyable until proven otherwise.
Let me go back to what you said about NVIDIA, Ross, because that's interesting. So if that core AI question, as you put it, isn't answered by that print, what are the investment implications of that, Ross? You know, how does that sort of shape how and where I want to put money to work?
Well, look, I mean, we've all heard the analogy about, in a gold rush, you want to own the seller of the picks and shovels, right? That's NVIDIA. So we know that there's incredible demand for their product and for the for any company that provides products that contribute to building out the infrastructure, right? The question is whether the hyperscalers and even downstream of the hyperscalers, pick a random staples company, are there productivity enhancements coming from all of this spending on things like NVIDIA chips? We know the demand is there. The question is the return on investment, and particularly at a time where the market is getting uneasy with how that investment is being funded. For years, the Mag 7 were, cash heavy, debt light, they're starting to reverse that trend and borrow to make these investments. So we might be years away from seeing the results of all this spending, whether there's a killer app or productivity enhancements down the line. It took really decades to get there for the internet boom in the late 90s. But that's the big question at the heart of this anxiety. And the NVIDIA print, while great, doesn't go a long way to answering that.
Okay.
How excited are you or not by this NVIDIA report and guidance?
Oh, I think the NVIDIA report was great and the guidance was great, and that they're going all full guns, and they're the largest cap stock in the country, or in the world, so that they're going to continue to power the market higher. But I got to push back on this AI bubbles talk. I'm not sure what the narrative is supposed to be with the AI bubble. I thought it was that there was going to be an overspend. And if NVIDIA is telling us that they can't sell enough Blackwells fast enough and they can't sell enough chips fast enough, that kind of feeds the AI overspend narrative, I thought. I thought that we want to see it slowing down and that these companies were going to start worrying about profits instead of just, digging up and building more data centers.
Tom, are you on board with that?
Well, I think the big breakthrough this quarter was supply, not demand. Demand has never been a problem for NVIDIA. The key was supply. They had been capped at $4 billion per quarter of revenue growth since Q2 of 2024. Even last quarter contracted, it was down to two quarterly revenue growth. Now you saw a huge jump of 10 billion revenue growth in the quarter. And what did Jensen attribute it to? New US wafer production is running and partners are ready to build. So what does that tell you, Brian? It tells you that the US facilities for Taiwan Semiconductor are humming and partners are ready to build. What does that tell you about Intel? Even including today's pre-market gains, NVIDIA's up 43% year to date, but Intel is up 85% year to date. That is the dark horse. This is the key providing the supply for NVIDIA. Is exciting to see because they were really capacity constrained from Taiwan Semiconductor for so many quarters, which is why their growth rate was declining. This is certainly a big breakthrough. Somehow capacity and supply has come on, and it's come on in the United States. Big deal for NVIDIA.
Jim, let me get back to you because you made a very important point just now, and I don't want to gloss over it. The way I read it, when I heard Jensen talk about GPUs being sold out, I mean, that was a good indicator in terms of demand. But if I hear you right, that might be a negative in that we are seeing an AI bubble that could end badly.
Well, I mean, I'm just defining what the AI bubble was, what we thought it was going into NVIDIA's report, and that it was an overspend. And that, yes, we're going to push out all these GPUs and we're going to push out all these Blackwells to a bunch of companies that cannot make the economics work for buying all this stuff. I thought that's what the bubble was. And that was the fear, is that they weren't going to make enough money. And now we're finding that, no, they pushed them out even faster, and that negate the bubble. So I'm just trying to understand what the story is. Or is the story we're just a bunch of degens, and that the stock prices were waffling for a couple of days and we called it a bubble, and now the stock number go up and now it's not a bubble anymore? I mean, if that's the narrative, fine. That's the narrative.
Okay, so these videos are definitely clearly from yesterday when NVIDIA was up to 193. It is currently at 177. So it had a $20 drop off this morning. It is let's look over here. On our high float scans, we see NVIDIA down 2% with almost 6 million shares traded on it. Following it up is Irene, has just broken over 1 million shares traded. In the low floats, still MNDR holding 11 million shares traded. Under that, cheap SBEV, and then a mildly cheap SHPH. Let me see if any of these had any kind of catalyst here. SBEV. And then we just got another one just popped in here, CLWT. I don't know what that is. It just reached 1 million shares. Okay. Splash didn't have news yesterday. SHPH, no real news out there. IVP, nope. CLWT, what is this? Euros and oh, that daily chart looks horrible on CLWT actually. Anyway, just waiting for new things to pop in. Let's continue.
But I thought the narrative was that we were overspending on this stuff.
So I guess, first of all, let's take a step back, because you're part of this cohort that we're talking about, millennial, I'm guessing.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And so, you know, we've been talking a lot, you know, both here in the show and the bigger media and cultural landscape about the affordability crisis when it comes to real estate. So, like, how do you think about that, and then how to approach it from an investing perspective?
Yeah, I mean, the way that I think about this platform is it always needed to exist in some form or fashion. I mean, if you see home prices are running away, and real estate is the largest wealth generator for generational wealth within the US. So this needed to happen sooner rather than later to give everyone access to real estate by clicking online. And so that's exactly what we built, as a way for people to invest in real estate as easy as investing in a stock.
And do you find that your users who are investing on the platform, do they own their own homes, or is this a way, are they seeing this as a vehicle to eventually build up enough assets to then buy a home? Like, are they renters who are investing in real estate?
So when we first started out, we thought we'd be the Robin Hood for real estate, with the idea being that anyone can access high quality single family rental homes. But then our returns started to speak for themselves. And our average return right now is about 18%. And that just goes back to our backgrounds. We were both at Goldman Sachs, myself and co-founder, where we were investing billions on behalf of the institution. And so today, the way that it works is a large majority of our investors are actually people that own their own homes or own multiple homes, and are coming to us because they see an easier, more headache-free way to invest. Now, the average allocation to a per property basis is around anywhere from 15 to 25K per property.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about how it works, right? So we were talking during the break, you guys own around 40 properties. I think you said 42 properties.
Yep. Yeah.
And as you mentioned, they're single family homes, and you're owning them and managing them and renting them out. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so the way I describe Mogul, it is the greatest way to invest in real estate. And so the idea being that Mogul came about because myself and co-founder, when we were both at Goldman Sachs, we were looking at ways to invest in that high quality asset outside of our day jobs. We didn't really see any platforms that allowed for it, and so we decided to build our own. And the idea being that you go on to mogul.club and you pick and choose from highly vetted assets that are the highest quality of assets, and then as you invest in that asset, you get monthly rental income, appreciation, and tax benefits in real time. For instance, we pay out monthly rental income for October tomorrow. And so you can start investing and start earning right away.
Mogul, I remember them.
Time now for what to watch Friday, November 21st. We're going to start off on the earnings front. BJ's Wholesale capping off a busy week of retail earnings on Friday. It's been a mixed bag so far among the big box retailers. Analysts expecting a tougher quarter ahead for BJ's compared to last year. The company did well last year because people were stocking up after a port strike and hurricanes, but the company should still grow sales with more people coming into stores but buying less.
BJ
and taking a look at the Federal Reserve, we're going to be getting some more commentary from multiple Fed officials on Friday. This is coming after comments from Director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, on Thursday. Hassett telling Yahoo Finance that he's humbled to be on the short list for Fed chair and that every candidate puts a high priority on Federal Reserve independence. And finally, another read on the consumer. That's coming in on Friday with consumer sentiment. Economists forecasting that number to rise compared to the prior reading to 50.6, signaling that consumers are feeling slightly more optimistic about the economy.
Good. Let's see them come back to small caps. All right, let's see. So, I'm back over here at MDR. Let's flick through these real quick. MDR, SBEV. Still no catalyst on any of these, so it might be one of those that continuation days if something is going to be continuing But I don't know if it's going to be MNDR. MNDR was blocked for TOS, and I don't know if they're going to be opening themselves to that type of risk at all. I think to be honest, I think that TOS is just blocking Asian stocks, period. Because how they handle their finances and how it differs from the US and US dollars and how they publicize their information. So, you got a currency conversion from the yen or from whatever they're trading in. And when they put out their information, a lot of times people aren't really privy on the conversions and what it really means in a US mindset, right? And that's why a lot of times we see these big pop-ups. People are like, oh wow, it has these words in it. But a lot of those pop-ups I'm thinking are algo pops for a bot that is looking for keywords, and it sees those keywords, jumps in, just like it would with the US stock. Only problem is on a Chinese stock, it's a lot different in the level 2, a lot different, a lot less stacked in the level 2s, and we see these huge rips up. They'll rip your face off, rip up from like 30 cents to like $300 or something like that. And then we see after that big pop, retail comes in. They're like, oh my goodness, what in the world? It can do it again. And so they started playing it, but they started playing it without looking into the actual documentation of the Chinese stock. And that's where they mess up. Because it is definitely different over there. All right, what is this? 15 hours. Do we have anything? So we just watched. Okay, no, we did not. We did not see this one. This is 29 minutes ago.
This AI trade and trend and theme, which NVIDIA is the face of, how important is that at this point, Jose, to the broader U.S. economy?
Well, it's huge, Josh. Great to be here. The market is now getting closer to becoming a barometer of the economy because the lower income and middle income consumers, they're having a lot of trouble. We're hearing that on the retail earnings calls. And it really is the high income consumers that are really driving consumption forward. So if you have a market correction, those folks, their behavior could now become dictated by their portfolios. Everyone's looking at their phones and looking at their portfolios. If they see their values go down, all of a sudden they're going to start dropping their discretionary activities. So it's huge. As far as for the AI theme, are these capital expenditures in AI, are they going to deliver long-term capital returns? Or is it going to be lackluster? That remains to be seen, but that's why the market here is waiting for these results to really choose a direction, really sandwich here on the S&P 500. We've recovered from the 5% drawdown from the high yesterday, and then we tried to get above the 50-day moving average today, but we didn't. So we're right there at those two pivotal points. The market's waiting for direction. I think a beat and raise blockbuster guidance, that can take us above the 50-day moving average. And don't forget, tomorrow we have that September jobs report as well, which can move rate cut expectations right now at around the coin flip.
Let me ask you, Jose, there was a good piece by Greg Ip in the Journal. I thought of you when I read this week. He says, the most joyless tech revolution ever. He says, AI is making us rich and unhappy. He says, discomfort around AI helps explain the disconnect between a solid economy and an anxious public. You agree with that as an economist? Is that the disconnect?
To an extent, we're starting to hear employers more and more, they're starting to realize we're not hiring as much because we're adopting AI. So that's really hampering labor market performance. And we've heard the Fed minutes,
let me ask you, do you think it's making people anxious?
I think so. Yeah. I think so because a lot of college grads, they're expecting to get into the labor force. They have great grades, great marks, great recommendations, and then they're having trouble getting in because instead of maybe 20 spots, there's only 10 because AI is doing a lot of the work. So I think that's generating some anxiety.
Okay, we've seen that one. Let's see. Fed needs a lot of house cleaning. All right. U.S. stocks reverse. Bitcoin. All right, let's go back over. See if we have any more published news other than videos. All right, so European arms maker fall to the lowest since September on Ukraine peace push. Analysis: yen intervention looms large, but it may not work. Okay, so we got some Asian news out there, but definitely 2 minutes ago. Let's see. So this is 2 minutes ago. I mean, let's go ahead and do that one.
Past 24 hours, you look at Nvidia, you look at Walmart. Nvidia in particular seems to be pushing back against all of this AI skepticism.
Yeah, I mean, if the expectations were really high for Nvidia.
Wait. We got to call out by me. SMX. Let me go look at what this thing is. SMX. So on our low floats, SMX popped up there 22%, 2 million shares traded, $5.24. Let's go look at what it's got going. So this is SMX. Man, where is the catalyst? All right, so yesterday, inside, what is going on over here at SMX? Man, I was almost excited. All right, so let's see. Nobody saw it coming, not the regulators writing, blah, blah, blah. SMX was teaching the material world, quietly building those two. Okay, so let's go first of all, pop over to SMX's profile. Oh, wow. I literally type in profile. Type in XMX. What is going on here? All right, so SMX, Security Matters, Public Limited Company. Let's go to their profile. SMX Matters, Public Limited Company provides brand protection, authentication, and track and trace technology for anti-counterfeit market. Its proprietary marker system embeds a permanent or removable mark on solid, liquid, and gaseous objects. I think we've seen this one before. The company's solutions comprise physical or chemical marker system coupled with a reader and connected to blockchain digital platform for application in process tracing. Sustainability, circular economics. All right, where is this out of? Dublin, Ireland. Do they have, so they said it's a blockchain. Are they actually connected? Let me see if XMX is connected to a specific blockchain. Let me see. So is SMX connected to specific crypto? Authentication, traceability, blah blah blah. SMX is not it's not a traditional cryptocurrency, but has blockchain-based initiatives integrated into its sustainability and supply chain solutions. Plastic cycle, so blockchain-powered PCT combines molecular. Why don't they just create a coin, man? They just don't want to go into crypto, I guess. But they have all the mechanisms that a crypto would have. They're like, nah, we don't need no coin, we good. So SMX going to $5 right now. Hit a high of 684 up there. Let's look at this daily chart. So on the daily chart, we can see SMX was trading here at 424 and now is up at Well, I guess it's not. So $5 is like right in here somewhere. So a break of maybe 609s, maybe. Right there. So let's just that's a peak. I don't know if they did a reverse or something. Something happened here on SMX. Top side is 603. Bottom side for this is 397. So we will. I mean, this isn't really a peak to me. This is just it could be a possible daily level. I don't know if it's going to be support or resistance, so I'm going to mark it as such. So I'm just going to edit, and I'm going to call it a possible level, possible daily level, because I'm not sure if it's an actual peak. Possible daily level. That's pretty much all I could put there. So it's got 2 million shares traded, and let's back up a little bit and see what else we can see back here. I mean, just this up here is 1336, which is insane. This thing had to do a reverse split or something. Let me go and see what kind of splits it's done. Has it performed any recent splits? Okay. So the reverse, it did an 8-for-1 reverse split on November 18th. November 18th. So just a couple days ago, actually. It has done multiple reverse splits since 2023. So it did one August 21st, 2023. And let me see. So it did one for 22. So for every 22 that you had, it gave you one. For every 70, and then for the next one, July 2024, for every one, for every 75 that you had. So it seems like they were increasing the price, but also diluting the stock by no. Were they reducing the price or increasing the price? One for 75, then one for 25, then one for 4, then one for 7, then one for 10, and now this one they're giving you 8 for one. So if you're holding one, they'll give you 8 for them. So it's kind of weird. So this is the first split that they're doing, giving something back, right? The other splits were, hey, for one we'll give you, or for 22 of them we'll give you one. So it is a change. It is a switch over. The highs up here were on this chart 684. Let's see if we can start to see any kind of structure. So we had this first little piece, and it's trying to trade around this right now. It's up 23%. Continue to find a little bit of volume. Came down here twice, right at that $5 hold dollar level. Point of control is at 587. Let me see what the points of control is on the 5 minutes, 15 minutes, all that good stuff. It's not even calculating over here. What in the world? Points of control on the 5 minute is zeroed out. So apparently it's got to do some more trading, because yeah, it's like we don't even know. We don't know what this thing's doing. But on the 1 minute, we can see 587 up here. Very weird motion there. And it did this. It did this reverse on the 18th. So it's been 3 days since it's done the reverse. Outstanding shares reduced from, they actually lowered the float. So on this last reverse, outstanding shares was 8 million, and now it's down to 1 million. So interesting. Let's go look at the float over here on the research tab. Or not research, statistics, my bad. Not research. Okay, statistics. Float is looking like way under a million here. So 21.45K. That's very low. I don't even know. What? That's super low. Okay. So yeah, Dublin, Ireland out here playing with the hearts of the people. We had a coming down to 5, and then now it's up to 534. So let's see if it can form any new structure or any new ideas here. 527 is up 24% with 3 million shares traded on it. Tesla has joined the high floats. So we have Tesla green on the day with 1 million shares. Nvidia down, but still leading the day in volume with 6 million shares. I want to see SMX kind of challenge Nvidia for its that volume. If it can start getting up and over Nvidia, I think we can start seeing a lot of people pour in. Let me see who else is out here. Low floats. So low floats, SMX just has a lot of work to do. Good morning, good morning. So we got a call out by AJ. So let's see, call out NVVE has a lot of volume today. Oh, I hope this isn't a 2-cent stock. Oh, I hope it's not. NVVE. It's a 28-cent stock. Okay. All right, 28-cent stock. No catalyst. With how much volume does it have? Let's see, NVVE. 60 million shares traded, but it is a higher float. So higher float there. Let's go look at this. Let's go look at its profile and all that stuff. NVVE. Thinking more people will be interested on SMX, but we'll see about NVVE. NVVE is a higher float though. That is a mark against it. Float of 31.93. So it definitely cannot move quickly. You might have to hold through some chop. And then it's way cheaper. So yeah, that's another mark against it. Okay, let's go look at this profile. What do they actually do on NVVE? NVVE Holding, a green energy technology company, provides a commercial vehicle to grid technology platform in the United States, France, Japan, and Denmark. The company offers grid integrated vehicle platform, which enables electric vehicle batteries to store and resell unused energy back to the local electric grid. The local electric grid. So this is EV. This one was founded in 2010, is headquartered in San Diego, California. And we'll see how it does on the day. It's got some volume for sure. Back up here to SMX. SMX, are you going to be taking a round trip or what? So 506 down here. Point of control still at 587. We'll let them kind of do a little bit more reading. The top side of this is 538. So letting that play out as well. It's up 23%, but NVVE is up 64%. So I just want to see more volume come into SMX. And more volume means more structure. So that's what I'm kind of waiting on over here. And the volume is slowing down. Why does it slow down like that? Come on, man. You gotta continue to tempt people. Tempt them. Get a little structure. Okay, so previous idea, and then we have this bottom here at 5 that we really want to see a hold above. Let's see how it does. Palantir just joined the high floats. Palantir popping in there. Doesn't look like it's up or down much. I mean, it's just kind of joining the list. But Nvidia still with 7 million shares traded. I do not like that Nvidia is so strong on today, even though it's not really gapping. It's just people are over there on it. People are over there on it. MVVE, I mean, this one is just pretty much moving 4 cents. So 4 cents, I mean, if you can make it work, you can make it work. You do you, but 4 cents is definitely not my type of move. So it's coming down, testing this idea. Let's see if it ends up breaking down or holding this as an idea. This is the second time that it's kind of walking up here. And a break over 529s is going to start looking a little bullish, but we're giving it some time. It's kind of just hugging this level. We still see a little bit of descending, but I mean, it could pop at any time. It's up 22%. Of anything else floating around here? MNDR, not really getting much love. This one, 525s. We're just watching to see what idea takes shape here. Okay, let's see if it tries again here. So it's right at the 5 again, or not at the 5, the 510s, right on that trend. Has room. If it does break down, we'll see if it follows this idea here at the 497. Opening up right on this level. What, back over 520, but it's now breaking that previous low here. So it yeah, it's got room down to that 497 if it wants to drop a little bit. Gonna see. Yeah, it feels, yeah, it does. 19%, 3 million shares traded. Point of control up there at 587s. All right, there's the 497 tap right there. And the previous idea is all the way down here to 450. So just kind of watching it. And now it's up 14%. Will buyers want this? Will they bring it back over this 494? Bring it back into this range or what? MNDR is also trying to move back up as well. It's got the 12 million, but I'm not sure what it wants to do. It's still up 40%, so it's not looking horrible. All right, so SMX coming back and testing that level right there at the 496s, showing a little bit of resistance there. But now it is under $5. So both of our top movers down here under 5. This one's got a lot of wicks too. Continue to pump on down. only up 12% now, which is not great. MNDR. Oh, we got some new additions to the high floats. I did not see those pop in. So we got Tesla. I mean, I think I said Tesla already. Palantir popping in there. IONQ, MSTR all joining the list. We got a couple green. Oh, wow. I did not see the NQ pop back up. Okay. I was like, why is all this green up here when the NQ's dumping? All right, so NQ has popped back up here, starting a new. Let's see it. We'll see if it can hold this trend. Whoops. See if it can hold this trend here, extend to the right. It tried to hold this previous one that we thought was it, but that was a lie. It absolutely came on back down. But now holding a new trend here, walking up the 24,000s. Back under 24,000 will be breaking this trend. So we'll see how that goes. SMX, what you doing? What you got? Right down here at the 474s. 474s, only up 14%. And I don't know if people are going to be absolutely in love with that. A lot of pre-market movement. A lot of them like to see over 20%, over 25%, over all of these percentages. So, you know, being up 14% isn't just lovely. MNDR, though, trying to coil here. So let's see what kind of structure we have from the top here. Top side of 537s. Actually, let me draw this a little bit better. Okay, this looks like a double top. I'm not sure which one of these it'll actually play on. So I will, well, I mean, they're about the same almost. Not exactly. All right, so we'll see how that plays there towards that high, but we actually have some structure here. Okay, so another little hold up here for SMX. Had a previous bottom here at the 473s. Will it go ahead and break down a little bit? Okay, a little pop there off of this double bottom. So flat double bottom there. Let's see how this candle closes. Oh, and SMX, let me go back over and see what the, I should have notated this, but see if we can get back over 5. SMX, this was security, counterfeit marketing, marking, cyber, it's pretty much cybersecurity almost. Or not even cybersecurity, just product security, inventory security. And the volume just isn't pouring into this thing like super dupe a whole lot. Let's go back to the 15 minutes. The 15 minutes back here, we can see MNDR had a huge pre-market, huge aftermarket. It just seems like it does a lot between intradays. Like during intraday, it's like, Then during aftermarket, pre-market, it's like, okay, let's move. All right, so this is SMX on the 15 minute. Big topping tail coming down here. So let's go back and look at the 1 minute. See if we can diagnose anything down here. So we got 2 bottoms here, but we do not have a verified uptrend. So 472, can it start to form some higher levels here and possibly get back over 490s and start holding? All right, MENDR tested up here at 437s. Got this structure up here at 454. We'll see if it does another test to that. MNDR, bottom of the value level is $4, so under 4 it's going to be looking quite weak. But has its eyes, looks like it has its eyes up here to the trend. SMX continuing to go down, still not verifying any kind of uptrend yet. So 472. And it doesn't have any catalyst on the day as well. That's probably another reason that it's kind of moving slow here. Neither one of these. Both of these are just like, well, I hope it goes up. $44. So about a 10-cent run up to this resistance level. Point of control here is 454 on the 1 minute, 451 and 452. So literally just right around the top side of those 50s. Or not the top side of the 50s, but I guess the right above the 50. But this one is leading the day with 13 million, so can't really take eyes off of it and go to SMX because SMX is not where the eyes are. Not where the eyes are at all. Okay, we got some new additions to the high floats. So NVIDIA, Google, Irene, they've been here. Tesla's been here. Microsoft, MSTR, IONQ, and then AMD. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we got room for one more. These are the top 10 movers with some range that that can take volume away. NVIDIA breaking over 10 million now. So if it breaks over this 15 and it gets over MDR, the high floats are where the focus is. And it looks that way because the market is absolutely ripping. So let me see if Bitcoin ended up getting any kind of pump up. Small pump back up. I mean, it was very small pump back up, $3,000 on that one. So it was at the 80, pulled back up to the 83. That's nothing to get excited about, though. I think it still can have some room down. All right, MNDR, again, I'm thinking it's going to go up here to this little structure here, but without catalyst, how in the world is it going to hold up here is the question. And it's missing all of the TOS traders because TOS is blocking this stock. So that's another kind of mark down that we have against it. TOS is like, we are not playing those Asian games anymore. We let y'all do it a couple times, but no. Too many accounts blown. Too much bad vibes created. Let's stay away from that. Good morning, everybody. Senate, you must be you logging in from a different profile? Your name looks different. Or did YouTube change something? Yeah, your name definitely looks different a little bit. NVVE still is moved from 26 up to 28. That was a call out that we got earlier. But yeah, at this point, I kind of just want to see which one of these will hold up with no catalyst. If it's going to be a Freaky Friday, you know, let's see who holds up with no catalyst. Wow, SMX dumping? Ooh. And this is why I was like, wait, MNDR, both of these are low floats. MNDR has 16 million shares traded. Now we see SMX fading, no confirmed uptrend. And so now we would expect any of this to become some type of resistance. It's getting more and more resistance up here as it trades. And now it's down to 460 with no really identifiable structure. Only up 9% now. So glad we staved away from that. All right, so MNDR, you're the last thing holding up. Is anything else looking bullish like that? SBEV, not really. IVP, only 13 cents. Man, I tell you what, this whole week might be a no trade week, man. This has been the longest I've not taken a trade, bro. I tried to, but then it was an Asian stock, so they blocked it. They're like, nah, I'm good. And that was the only thing up. So I was like, nah, I'm cool. If I can't get that, I don't want nothing else. So yeah, kind of just sitting in the limelight right now, muttering to myself. All right, let me refresh the news and see if any new news has come out. Gold set for weekly loss after broad sell-off, hazy Fed outlook. India, Europe, central banks agreed to start initial phase of linking domestic payment systems. Global equity funds draw inflows for 9th week on corporate earnings. Anything else? Oil pairs laws. Okay, we've seen all this stuff. All right, let's see what they're talking about. Any recent? Oh, this is the one we didn't really address here. Are earnings a new economic indicator for a Fed without data?
Past 24 hours, you look at Nvidia, you look at Walmart. Nvidia in particular seems to be pushing back against all of this AI skepticism.
Yeah, I mean, if the expectations were really high for NVIDIA and they exceeded expectations in every way, and we've seen that throughout earnings season, that it's been really strong. We're basically at the end now, and we're looking at the 4th straight quarter of double-digit earnings growth and profit margins that are the highest that we've seen in the last 15 years. And it's, so we definitely are seeing that strength in the economy. And that's been a positive for stocks broadly, and the AI tailwind on top of all that has just made this an incredible environment.
So what does that do for your investing strategy or how you're thinking about it?
I mean, certainly want to maintain risk in portfolios. I mean, with the strength of the economy, with the resilience of the consumer, with corporate strength, more or less a dovish Fed now. All of those are positives for the markets. So we want to maintain our equity exposure. We do want to be diversified. We don't want to be all in exposed to anything AI related. We want to have value, small cap, international, and other asset classes to round out those exposures. But we are pretty positive for the period going forward.
And John, just quickly, how much does the Federal Reserve pay attention to the corporate earnings as an economic indicator?
Well, I mean, I think it's a background secondary factor. And here's where I think it matters and that the Fed is going to have to process. Margins are very high. Corporate margins are very high. And I think what you see from a lot of executives right now is they want to protect those margins. And what you also see is there's been a lot of investment in technology. And I think the story in 2026 becomes business protecting margins by trimming their labor costs, by reaping the gains, the benefits of this technological investment, by cutting labor where they can. And this causes a challenge for the Fed because, and it might lead to a more dovish Fed, because on the one hand, it softens the labor market, it might push the unemployment rate a little higher. It also takes some pressure off of wages and wage pressure. So maybe it relieves a little bit of the inflation pressure that we've seen over the last few years. And we're going to have this balancing act between productivity gains on the one hand, but also, tariff price pressures on the other. And a sustained problem, I think, that the Fed is going to have to be watching on the labor side of the economy, because companies want to protect their margins by trimming their labor costs. And that, I think, is a big story in 2026.
This AI trade.
All right. Oops. So we're getting closer and closer to getting that test up here to the supposed structure without catalysts. And I'm thinking that there are definitely some sellers looking to take position on this one on MNDR. It's been running for a while. And just I'm just like, well, it has the AI catalyst that everybody's been talking about, fighting over and all this. Well, not really fighting over, but trying to figure out. And what is this one? IVDA. Oh, it's only 83 cents. IVDA. It says on the news for IVDA, Iveta announces or advances Egyptian localization strategy, signing major new manufacturer partnership for local production of the latest 360 camera technology. So 360 smart surveillance systems is EV or IVDA, and that is only 81 cents up, and it just flew past SMX already to 4 million. Let me show y'all here. So look at this, flew from 1 million shares traded right over the top of SMX. And so, a lot of trading going on down there with IVDA. So if you're into the cheaper ones, the penny ones, this one actually has a catalyst on the day. Let's go look at the daily chart. All right, so has been selling off for quite a while. Closed yesterday at 65 cents. It is now broken over this level here that could be a possible support at the 75 cents. So let me go ahead and mark that up. 76 is 75 is somewhere up in here. It's not too far away from here for sure. But I don't even know if I want to mark that. I'm just gonna leave it unmarked. That's easy to spot. It does have a little gap up here between 112 and 108. So that could be something to take note of. So a little gap in here, like 111, like that little gap right there. Let me mark this up. So this is going to be a gap level. Yep. Or actually, this is the higher side, high side gap level. Daily gap. Daily gap. All right, high side daily gap. And then we're going to have a low side daily gap. So duplicate. Not a whole lot of room in this gap, but activate high side, high side. Not a whole lot of room at all. This is our low side daily gap. Okay, so yeah, don't know what it's gonna do over $1. It's got the 108, 110. Let's back up a little bit more. I'm not sure if it's gonna get well. It's got a smart surveillance camera, so I'm not sure how excited people are gonna be about that. Let me back up just a little bit. The 141. I mean, it's kind of possible. 141. It's double topped here, so this could be some possible resistance for it. Not really a double top, but more like a double test. So I'm just gonna put possible daily resistance there, the 140s. Possible daily resistance. And let's see, that looks, I mean, all the way up to the 225s. I don't know if it's gonna hit 225 on that news. But yeah, we're watching. Daily is dead. Yeah, long list of errors. You said, I like how you say, let's look at the daily chart. Daily is dead. And this is why, so let me tell you, so the majority of my losses have come trading things under $5. Over $5, I do exponentially better. And, you know, looking at my metrics and my statistics and all of that, it took, the problem is, when I failed on trading these little cheap ones like this, I was like, well, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the issue because I'm failing trading these cheap stocks, right? But over time, I'm like, well, I have this strategy. If I take it to a little bit higher price, it works pretty good. But then when I just take it back to the lower price, I absolutely get blowed out. So I'm just like, I really like the higher price tickers, especially in the low floats. If I'm gonna trade it, I like it to be a little bit higher, but this one might touch a dollar. It might. Let's draw this down and see where those points are. Look how high it needs to go. So it needs to, what's the ATR on this? 12 cents. 12-cent ATR from yesterday. So an average of 12 cents of motion on the day. And I mean, that is quite a bit of a move that it's gonna have to make. Let's go and look at the let's go look at the float on this one. In beta. Come on, bring it on up. Or not in beta, beta. I beta. Statistics. Man, that thing flew. I mean, it absolutely flew past SMX. It's almost a 10 minute. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if a stock isn't getting this type of push, like SMX should have got that push, but it didn't. So I was like, let me just wait and see if anything else pops up, you know. We're looking for the top. This scanner brings up the top 10 in the small caps or the low floats. And so that's what we're seeing here. But let me look at the statistics for Iveta. Float of 2.99 million. News. See that. Yeah, so I have very averse reactions to trading very cheap stocks. If it's under $1, I haven't touched under $1 stocks, even to be tempted to test under $1 stocks in a long time. Like I'm like, I feel my money seeping out. All right, so Iveta advances Egyptian. So this is the same news we're seeing over here on TOS. All right. Let's look at the 15-minute on this one. Moving up from 63 all the way up here. Let's look at the 5. Well, let me zoom in so y'all can see it more clearly. Zoom into the 5. Yep. Okay, so it's got 10 million. Well, it is now the top mover on the day. It just gave up that spot. It was above MNDR just for a second, but it is running up on MNDR's volume very quickly. Very quickly. MNDR was 17 million. This one's pushing up on his backside. The other thing is with the cheaper stocks, they don't, when it comes to structure, they don't really like structure. Like you can get like an uptrend. Like let's say if it went up here to, let's say this is 92 cents, it could easily like, okay, first of all, let's just find some structure on it since it is gonna probably be the highest moving low float here in a second. It's about to pass up Nvidia. Okay, I am back. All right, so this one's at 88. But yeah, it's about to pass up, or it's really close to passing up Nvidia. So now that it's passing up Nvidia, I really don't like it. It's Freaky Friday, supposed to be Freaky Friday, and this is what is becoming the thing. All right. So almost 13 million shares traded. So it's over all of the high floats now, or the larger caps. Not good. Not good in the neighborhood. All right, but yeah, when it comes to structure, I've noticed a lot of times these can get way bigger fat finger discounts. And what I mean is like there's maybe some stops down here or stops up here, whatever, and they will zone through all of them and bounce right back up because it's so close, right? If somebody has a lot of money, pushing this thing, 5 cents isn't hard. Like this right here is at the 88. Pushing it down to 80 and popping it back up here isn't hard for somebody that's working with a huge account. So they can hit all those stops and then bring it right back up and everybody's mad. Especially the folks that may be in a cash account or something like that. And that's their trade for today. Stopped out. SMX continued to go down. It is now at 438, only up 3%. I am so glad that I was looking for a uptrend. That is crazy downwards movement. All right, SBEV, and SBEV is a perfect example of this cheaper pop and drop. Look at this. Popped up here all the way to 98, popped right back down, and then opens up in the middle of a candle. That's on low volume too. That's really bad. Okay. iVita coming on back down a little bit. Long Elizabeth Harris says you can tell on the daily how excited they were about their camera. Exactly. They're like, I don't know, but the NQ is continuing to pump up. NQ is continuing to pump up. So more and more of these higher flows are showing green here. So we had another little higher low here at the 24s coming up here and pushing back up. Just like last Friday, there was a huge upward motion, but the upward motion came after the open. So I'm wondering, will we get consolidation or what? Because now it's moving up and we're not even at the open yet. Huge move from 23,949 all the way up here to 24s before the open. So that is kind of scary, especially knowing that Friday is usually a sell-off day. So if it's already up, will people sell it back down into this range and it kind of just ranges out in here? Last time it was down and the sellers took profit and it ripped up. All right, where are we? So MNDR continue to do nada. iVita about to pass MNDR here. 3 million shares left to go and it'll be passing it up. Okay. iVita. Now, one of the things that I love to point out when I was beginning trading, I was trading like sets of candles. So like I would take the three of these and kind of be like, okay, what is this pattern doing with it? And I would just play off of like a small little set of candles. But one of the things that I was seeing was every time the overall chart would show me all these wicks, I would ignore them. I'd be like, oh, those wicks don't mean anything. Those wicks are just, you know, they're just playing around, right? And every time I would get absolutely killed by stocks that look just like this. Wicks everywhere, can pump down way much, and plus it's a lower price, so you can oversize into this. That's one of the things I always say about low price stocks. You can oversize into them too easily. You could be in with 3,000, 4,000, 10,000, 20,000 shares just playing around, even with a smaller account. And then it dumps on you and you're sitting there like, oh my, that's all of my gains for the month gone because I want to play with the devil. But yeah, so it's showing us all these wicks with no really clean moves. Now, it may have a clean move, but it's probably going to be unpredictable. But all these wicks are just crazy. Right now, the point of control on iVita is 88 cents. On the 5 minute, the point of control is 83 and 82 cents. So it's got a little box from of heavy trading from 82 cents up to 87 cents. So right around here somewhere. So we'll see how it trades above this box, if it holds it or not, or if it wants to just drop back into the abyss. So hard to stick this because it's moving in between the cents. Okay, but anyway, yeah, that's the most heavily traded area right here, and we'll see how it does coming into that. MNDR trying to stay alive, but about to get passed up by iVita now. iVita literally less than 1 million shares away from it, or no, it's about to be less than 1 million shares away from it, and volume just continues to run up in here. So if this is going to be the best that we have on the day, iVita, this may be a no trade week for me. Maybe a no trade week for me. They're trying to push it back down. I guess we'll see what happens. It has 2 minutes until it'll be right at the box, and it is opening candles right under that level of the 87. Has room down to the 82s, or I mean, it may make a bigger move down or up. I don't know. Fat fingers are still live right now, especially with all of that volume. Okay, so wow, NQ had a little bit of a pop there, pop and drop. So came up here, did a little blast off from 24,200 all the way up here to 24,300 and got worked all the way back down in here. Like I said, we got about almost an hour until the open. Oh my goodness, I looked away for a second. And iVita moving right into this box. A lot of war zone going into this highly traded level. Man, iVita with the drop. But iVita does have more volume than MNDR now. So MNDR, people might look away, man. Might stop looking at you if you're letting something like iVita outdo you. Bottom of the box, right at those 80s. All right, let me look back over here at the news, see if we got any updates. Any of those updates. Okay, 8 minutes ago, U.S. equity funds attract fifth straight week inflow amid robust earnings results. Why markets are falling despite NVIDIA's earning beat. That was 25 minutes ago. Let's go ahead and pop into that.
Markets are heading for their worst week in 7 months, and that's despite US companies delivering pretty strong Q3 earnings. Why? Well, number one, investors are becoming more and more worried about lofty valuations and whether massive investments in AI will actually pay off. The AI bellwether, Nvidia, despite knockout earnings, saw its stock fall by over 3% on Thursday, and that seemed to have a ripple effect across other major AI players across the globe. Even stocks without an Nvidia link suffered. SoftBank saw more than 10% wiped off. Remember, the Japanese conglomerate sold its entire stake in Nvidia to bet heavily on OpenAI. Number two, it's all about interest rates. In general, lower borrowing costs are good for stocks. But the probability of an interest rate cut has fallen sharply in the last week from around 60% to now around 35%. Persistent unease over the Fed's ability to cut rates next month is clearly weighing on markets. And it's not just Wall Street stocks that are suffering, global stocks too. They're heading for their worst week since President Trump's Liberation Day back in April. Tech-heavy indices like the Japan's Nikkei and South Korea's Kospi, well, they took big hits. And even Bitcoin is on track for its worst monthly performance since June 2022. Now that's when the crypto world was rocked by a number of corporate collapses. At one point on Friday, Bitcoin traded below $81,700. Last month, it topped $126,000. So it's clear there's been a spike in volatility and more doubts about the sustainability of this AI boom. The big question, though, still remains. Are these week's moves just a correction, or is the actual AI bubble bursting?
All right. So that was a little whatever, but I didn't want y'all to miss this. I was looking at this on the chart, and so I just flipped it up while he was talking. So yeah, IVITA. So this was the point of heavy trading here, point of control, and I pretty much take the points of control from the 5 minute, the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. Put them on the 1 minute chart and see how it does, how it trades in that concentrated level. And we can see it fell out of that level quite a bit, all the way back down here to the ATR high from yesterday. So right at the 77. And so this red and green line that you see here, these are based on the closing metrics back here. So it does ATR high and low. During the intraday, though, I get a new ATR based on the previous 14 bars. So it's more dynamic than these right here. But it did come down and bounce off of this. It's tested this before as well, but this is not looking good. Usually strong stocks are getting up and away from the ATRs. They're getting up and away from the previous day's ATRs. This one is looking like it's kind of hugging them. All right. Let's go over here to MNDR. And I am about to ship on out and actually go and make some money. Because I mean, these weeks have not been bad for me because you know, working in IT and cybersecurity and all of that, holidays is when things get active. And so during these days where I'm not trading, I can handle a whole bunch of work. I mean, I have the charts and stuff pulled up, but if there's nothing to trade, I'm like, okay, let me handle something else, and continue to do whatever I do. You feel me? But it came down here to $4 and flat on MNDR. But again, IVITA has all of the eyes right now, and it's returning. Now you remember what I was talking about, the fat finger? Look at this fat finger. So if you were in here at 84 cents, you got dropped to 76 cents, and then it comes back up. Imagine the emotion of these folks that got stopped out on this right here, and then it's right back up to where it started. The point of control just moved. I think y'all saw that it moved down, so it's getting more concentrated in here, which is not a good thing for a cheaper stock. That means more people are taking bigger positions, probably trying to make their money back after this fat finger, and it's getting more concentrated in here. The more concentrated it gets, the harder it is for it to actually break out. So again, testing the bottom of this box. And this is how I trade the higher price ones like this, looking for breakdowns and re-entry into previous highly concentrated areas for it to pass through. So passing through the top side of the box, going higher. But this is this is not looking like something I want to taste test. All right, so point of control. Wow. If they just would have held, if they just would have held, they would have still been in here, right? That's the idea. That's what messes you up on these cheaper ones. You're like, man, if I just would have held, man, let me just get back in and see if I can make my money back. And then they don't realize, hey, you're in a highly concentrated area. You get in and you get another one of these fat fingers to the upside and then rip down. So, you know, it's just like, man, it's a lot of manipulation down here. All right, but yeah, like I said, I'm about to get on down. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me run back through what I see on my watch list right now. Low floats, looking for things with outstanding shares under 10 million on this scan. And it's just kind of looking fishy here. Nvidia now up to 21 million shares traded, still trading within that box. Higher floats, we have Nvidia still leading the day. The NQ finding a little bit of resistance. I don't know how much higher it's going to be able to pump. Go over here one more time and do a look-see. Yeah, so topping tail into red, and now we'll see at the open. I'll be watching, but we will be in the Discord. I will be, if you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, we'll be, oh, look at this. This thing just fell right back out of the box. Punishing them. But anyway, we will be in the Discord. The Discord link has been dropped, and the Discord is free. It's where we continue conversations. If we see anything, if it's a dead day, I mean, it's going to be a pretty much dead chat, unless you're talking about like options or some other type of security forex or something else. But yeah, if it's a dead day in the market where it's where we can't really figure it out, it's probably not gonna be super hot. But on those days where things are popping and we see things that we can actually take profit on, it's probably going to be a rolling chat. But anyway, that is it for today. And as always, keep your head on the swivel. And I will see you in the next one. Uh-oh, getting started.